First and foremost, I would like to point out that this video could be a trigger to some people and it does contain sensitive information. Also, I am in no way saying that Wayfair is trafficking children. I am just sharing statistics that I have found. Now, without further more, we are going to dive right into the video. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. If you don't know, my name is Brittany and I film videos based around the paranormal and mythological beings. So if that's something that interests you, please go ahead and quickly click that subscribe button. Don't mind the box. We're in the process of packing. So there's boxes everywhere. I also started packing slowly in like February. But today we're going to talk about the conspiracy theory of Wayfair trafficking human children. Now, this is such a sad conspiracy theory, you guys. Like, there's definitely something unnerving about it, and I don't know if it's just because of what it is or if there's certain things that to me it just doesn't add up. Now, the Wayfair conspiracy started June of this year and claims that the company is trafficking children through their website. Now, this theory has been floating around Twitter for a while, but it didn't go viral until it was actually posted on Reddit. Now, it's being said that the claims originated in the QAnon community, which many believe is a far-right conspiracy theory that there's a secret plot by a supposed deep state against President Trump and his supporters. Now, another thing that I kept coming across was the term Pizzagate. Now, I'm not super familiar with either of those conspiracy theories. I'm sure quite a few of you guys are, but that's why I'm not really going to touch base with the links of them that much, because I don't know enough about them to actually make that judgment. And I know that I just kept coming across both of them being linked to the Wayfair conspiracy theory, but we're going to focus primarily on just Wayfair. Now, social media users have claimed that Yurisa Castro, Samara Duplessis, Cameron Zeziak, Mary Durrett, Kyla Coleman, and Samaya Mumin. I may have pronounced any or all of those wrong, and I do apologize. I really don't mean any offense. I'm just terrible at names and words. But they have claimed that these users, or that these people are missing. And then they connected them to Wayfair. Now, Media-Wise did some research of their own, and they stated that only one of those children are actually still missing. The brand WFX Utility is listed on the cabinets in question, and it is a trademark of Wayfair. So they don't actually produce the cabinets, but they do own the name. And according to John Costello, who is a corporate communications manager at Wayfair, he said that the company temporarily removed listings for WFX utility cabinets so it could work with its supplier to create a better explanation for the cabinets. So if you guys have not seen these cabinets yet, which I'm sure most of you have, especially if you have stumbled across my video, they are cabinets that look exactly the same. Like, there is no difference. The picture is exactly the same, and there's no different descriptions, minus the fact that they have a female first name attached to them. Now, the other thing is, if you know anything about female shoes, they're like, that is something that's very commonly has a female name attached to it. But they're usually pretty common names. They're not unique names. And sometimes they're unique names, but for the most part, they're pretty common names like Brittany, Monica, Kayla, things like that. So the part that I don't really get is why you would attach female names to storage cabinets, like utility storage cabinets that's meant for commercial use or like shops. Because that's not, I feel like when you're attaching human names to that's not the same as attaching it to an item of clothing that where it makes a little bit more sense. Now at 4:03 p.m. on July 8th, Augusta Renee Wood tweeted 4 screenshots of these storage cabinets. And it said, at quote, "Wayfair, WTF is this? You cannot tell me this isn't child #sex trafficking." The same $500 cabinets posted over and over again with different little girl names for $15,000. Is this how they're getting the platform to buy children in 2020? Explain. So this post seems to be the first time anyone mentioned the connection between Wayfair trafficking children and Wayfair. It got very little engagement. So 20 minutes later, Woods retweeted the same tweet, and that tweet got a ton of attention and was retweeted over 430 times. Let's see. Okay, so you guys, so I just Googled storage utility cabinets, and this is just on Amazon, and they do look different. So I'm sure that the ones they're selling are, you know, they maybe they're a little bigger, but I'm just going to insert the like average pricing of just like me just typing in storage utility cabinets on Amazon and what came up, because it is a very big difference. A Reddit user named Princess Peach 1987 agreed with this tweet, and at 9:04 a.m. on July 9th, she posted a thread to Reddit Conspiracy, which is a subreddit that is dedicated solely to conspiracy theories. And she posted, quote, "Is it possible Wayfair is involved in human trafficking with their WFX utility collection? Or are they just extremely overpriced cabinets?" Now, the thread included 4 screenshots of the cabinets listed for more than $12,000 on Wayfair's website. Now, again, it's weird because there was one of these cabinets in stock, only one, and they all contained unique female names attached to them. And then they were all different prices. Now, Wayfair has obviously denied all of these allegations, and there really is no concrete evidence. It's a lot of speculation, a lot of random people connecting certain dots, and, you know, it's also like a game of telephone, so people keep talking about it, things keep getting changed. So there's no concrete evidence, but there's just things, you know, it doesn't, some things just don't make sense. And so even one of these missing children, Samaya Mumin, both missing children, she actually posted a very angry video on Facebook. I didn't watch the entire video. I think it was like a 40-something minute video. If you guys Google it, it'll come right up. But she was very angry at people accusing or saying that she was missing. And I was reading some of the comments, and people were like, why are you so mad? We were concerned about you. So that was really the general consensus, is people not understanding why she was upset, which I get that, like, you know, she was upset because people were saying she was missing, but still, people are just concerned about her. So it should have just been like hey, like, you guys, I'm here, I'm okay. But I don't know, something seemed a little off about the video. Again, it could just be everything surrounding the conspiracy theory of why I feel that way. I don't know. But now Wayfair stated in response to all of these allegations, the products in question are industrial grade cabinets that are accurately priced. Recognizing that the photos and descriptions provided by the supplier did not adequately explain the high price point, we temporarily removed the products from the site to rename them and provide a more in-depth description and photos that accurately depict the products to clarify the price points. Now, Wayfair also said that the company used an algorithm to name its products, and then later on they put it down to a price glitch. So first they stated that the products were accurately priced, and then they put it down to a price glitch, which that's a little, I don't know, guys, that's weird. Now, and it wasn't just it started out as just the utility storage cabinets in question, and then it became like other things like throw pillows, wall art, things like that. That's a lot of price glitches. Now, so some people said that after they put the specific SKU numbers of Wayfair products into Yandex, which is a major Russian search engine, that it brought up images of young women. Now, this claim is said to be true. However, they said it was down to a glitch in the search engine. Now, Yandex seems to have corrected the issue now, so the SKUs no longer bring up young women. It's all very strange. Now, I know this is going to be a little bit of a longer video, you guys, but I do really want to, touch base on the, severity of human trafficking. And personally, I don't think that it's that far-fetched for a major company to be involved in something like this. Not saying that Wayfair 100% is. I am in no way saying that, because I obviously don't know. But to me, it's not as far-fetched. And there's just, there's so many things that don't add up, you guys. So you guys, at any given moment, an estimated of 40.3 million people are being victimized in situations of trafficking and exploitation worldwide, and 25% of these are children. So that's a huge number, you guys. It's so incredibly disturbing. Now, human trafficking is defined as any situation of exploitation that a person cannot refuse or leave because of threats, violence, coercion, deception, and abuse of power. Now, traffickers exploit vulnerabilities, and, when someone's a child, they're vulnerable because they can't defend themselves as much. And you'll often hear about trafficking hotspots instead of one hotspot. Because the truth is, wherever people are, you guys, human trafficking can be taking place. And that's such a scary thought. Now, sex trafficking is not just women and girls. About 15% of those survivors have been boys or non-binary youth. And that's something that's really important to remember. I know that a lot of it does make up women and like female children, but that's not the only issue. They're not the only ones that get taken. So it's so disturbing. And in the United States, children of color are actually about 4 times more likely to be trafficked than white children. Sex trafficking is rarely the first thing to go wrong in a child's life. So if you think about it, you guys, when someone's vulnerable, it's much easier to convince them. Like, hey, I can make your life better. Or like some of these kids, they were in foster care and they get picked up. Like they suffered sexual or physical abuse, mental illness, physical neglect. And it's much easier to get a child to, want, just because everybody wants to be in a better situation when they're down that road. Like they don't want to have those feelings. They don't want to, keep getting abused. So they'll leave. And it doesn't take much. And they look at this person like they're a savior and they're doing them a favor, and that's wrong. And these people are exploiting that. Now, the other thing is traffickers don't fit any one stereotype. They can be family members, peers, romantic partners, educators, employers, community leaders, and clergy. They can literally be anybody. Like, just like a serial killer doesn't fit any one description. I mean, I'm sure all of you guys know who Ted Bundy is. He didn't look like a serial killer. Now, I'm sure that some human traffickers, they fit the description of what we deem a human trafficker to look like, but that's not always the case, you guys. So sometimes youth continue going to school, living at home, and participating in extracurricular activities while they're being trafficked, which is such a scary thought. And that's the other thing is, it was looked into and it found out that only one of these children were actually missing. But maybe they're not missing. And that doesn't mean that they're not being trafficked still. Not saying that these girls actually are, but it's just something to think about. And the other thing, you guys, is child trafficking is not a new phenomenon, but caring about it is. Human trafficking has been happening forever, but only in the year 2000 did it become illegal. So once it had a name, people, they thought that these were worse times. But just because somebody knows about something doesn't mean that it's worse. It just means that you're aware. And being aware is one of the ways that we can, put a stop to it. So I also found some statistics of the top 10 human traffic states. And I did want to share those. I was reading them to Jeff yesterday. So I did print it out, so I am just going to read from it. Washington, D.C. has the highest human trafficking rate in the United States of 11.66 victims per 100,000 people. In 2019, there were 34 human trafficking cases reported in D.C., 18 of which were sex trafficking, 7 of which were labor trafficking, 7 were unspecified, and 3 were sex and labor trafficking. Nevada has the second highest human trafficking rate of 9.9 4.97 victims per 100,000 people. Nevada has 124 human trafficking cases in 2019, 100 of which were sex trafficking cases because adult prostitution is legal in 11 counties in Nevada. Traffickers use legal brothels to traffic children by creating false identification. Delaware has the third highest human trafficking rate of 4.27 victims per 100,000 people. Delaware has 14 cases reported in 2019, 10 of which were sex trafficking. Females were the majority of victims in the cases. Delaware is a popular state for traffickers due to its location on I-95. With a human trafficking rate of 4.2 victims per 100,000 people, Nebraska has the fourth highest human trafficking rate in the United States. Nebraska had 25 reported cases in 2019, the majority of which were sex trafficking cases. Females were the primary target of sex trafficking, mostly adults, but some minors were involved as well. Some of the main centers of trafficking in Nebraska are Omaha, Lincoln, and Grand Island. California has the fifth highest rate of human trafficking of 4.15 victims per 100,000 people. California has the highest number of human trafficking cases reported of 749 cases in 2019. Given California's location by an international border and presence of major airports, traffickers see the state as a low-risk, high-reward, and profitable human trafficking location. Of the 749 cases reported, 535 were sex trafficking, 85 were labor trafficking, 81 were unspecified, and 48 were sex and labor trafficking. Michigan has the sixth highest human trafficking rate of 3.81 victims per 100,000 people. Michigan has the seventh highest number of sex trafficking cases reported in 2019 of 172. Of the 172 cases, 131 of them were sex trafficking, 16 were unspecified, 15 were labor trafficking, and 10 were sex and labor. The top industries for labor trafficking in Michigan were restaurants and food service and traveling sales crew, and the top industries for sex trafficking were residence-based, commercial sex, and hotel and motel-based. Georgia has the seventh highest human trafficking rate of 3.81 victims per 100,000 people. Georgia has the fifth highest number of human trafficking cases of 222 in 2019. Atlanta in particular is a major human trafficking transportation hub and is one of the top U.S. cities with the highest levels of child sex trafficking. Of the 222 cases in 2019, 159 were sex trafficked, 41 were labor trafficking, 13 were sex and labor, and 9 were unspecified. About 57 cases were confirmed to involve minors. Hawaii has the eighth highest human trafficking rate in the United States of 3.4 victims per 100,000 people. In 2019, Hawaii had 21 reported human trafficking cases. A study published interviewed sex trafficking victims in Hawaii. The study revealed that more than 75% of trafficked victims reported being homeless. 64% of victims were Native Hawaiian and 82% of victims were first trafficked as children. New Mexico has the ninth highest human trafficking rate in the U.S. of 3.34 cases per 100,000 people. There were 31 reported human trafficking cases in 2019 in New Mexico. The majority of human trafficking cases are sex trafficking, with most of the victims being female. New Mexico is a prime location for human trafficking because of the interstate exchange of I-25 and I-40 called the Big I. New Mexico is also attractive to traffickers because of the high rates of poverty and domestic violence. With a human trafficking rate of 3.26 victims per 100,000 people, Kansas has the 10th highest rate in the country. There were 43 reported cases in 2019. The majority of cases were sex trafficking, and the majority of victims were female. Cities and counties along the I-70 corridor in Kansas experienced a higher than average amount of trafficking. Guys, all of this information is so incredibly disturbing. And it's disturbing enough to think about, like, adults being taken and trafficked and stuff. But can you add children? And there's so many messed up people in this world. And, like, I said it before, but people terrify me. Like, I don't know, you guys. People just, they're so unpredictable, and you just don't know. Like I said, these human traffickers can look just like anybody. I was really young, and I was in Price Chopper with my mom, and we were grocery shopping. And you know, it's like a country town. Like, you don't really think anything's gonna happen and stuff. And she left me with the car. I wish I could remember my age. It was before I even started school, so I was really young. And she sat me on the bench in front of the pharmacy, in front of the, you know, all the registers. So there's a lot of people around, and she set me on the bench with the car and told me to just kind of wait there while she went and grabbed something. Now, I'm like this little girl. I don't know, 3-4 years old, and I'm sitting there waiting for my mom, and this older guy, like, came and sat next to me. And it's a bench. I'm this little girl, so there should be, like, there's a lot of room on that bench. And he sat right next to me. And I remember distinctly that he looked at me and he's like, "Where's your mom? Where's your parents? And, like, are you alone?" And I just instantly, like, I felt like this was not okay. And I screamed for my mom, and my mom ended up coming. And the guy, as soon as I, like, yelled for my mom, he got up and bolted away. So, like, if he had no ill intentions, he would have just been like, I see a kid, and I was worried. And just kind of explain that to my mom. But, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't leave your kid by herself, or, like, something like that. But he literally ran away, you guys. So, I'm not saying that, like, I almost got human trafficked or almost got kidnapped or anything like that, but I'm just saying that if he had pure intentions, he wouldn't have ran. So, people definitely terrify me. And this is just so, it's just so sad. And that's the other thing is, like, that's why I could see a very large company participating in something like human trafficking, because who's gonna think? It's a reputable company, and they obviously have a lot of backing, so it makes sense to me. And like I said, the children might not even be missing, or, like, because even families, I mean, I'm sure that this is less common, but even families are sometimes the cause of the trafficking. So it's so disturbing. I want to know your guys' opinions on all of it. Again, I am not saying that Wayfair is trafficking children. I think some things just don't add up, and, you know, trafficking, sex trafficking, labor trafficking, all of it, like, children trafficking it's such a problem, you guys, and it's so terrifying to think that people are capable of things like that. But I do want to hear your guys' opinions. I do want to hear your guys' thoughts, and if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed yet, it would really mean the world to me if you could hit that subscribe button. And again, you guys, just please please stay safe, and I will see you next time.